Hi everyone, this is Jerry Chen from Real Estate Tax Tips channel. Today I have a very special guest here, also my client, long-term client since probably the earliest day. Anita Bongers-Lewis here with me. We are going to dive deeper into her journey on how to become a successful real estate investor, how to do house hacking, and also how her clients that she currently work with, the investor clients, was able to negotiate better because of her due diligence that she does. But before I get started, please visit the Wealth Hacker Conference website. Erwin and I are going to host a 1,500 people event in this upcoming November. We have a keynote speaker planned for you, and his name is Jesse Itzler. And if you want to find out more about the event, and the event is going to talk about how to wealth hack. Okay, the Wealth Hacker Conference, how to wealth hack. So you can visit wealthhacker.ca to find out more information about it. Okay. Now, make sure you also give us a thumbs up if you like our video and hit the subscribe button. Now, let's turn our attention to Anita. Anita, tell us a little bit about you.
About me, I am a realtor and real estate investor in the Durham region. We expand a little bit more than that, but somebody who did not start out as a realtor became one out of a passion to help other people, and now I'm running a team of realtors to help other investors purchase investment real estate, as well as residential. We do a lot of that as well, but just helping people grow wealth, just like Wealth Hacker, and I have purchased my tickets already.
Oh my God, thank you so much. So I know in the early days, when we were working together, you weren't actually a realtor at the beginning. And every year when I talk to Chris, your husband, there's always a message saying that I moved. I moved this year. And then the next year is the same. I moved again the year after. And then, yeah, tell me a little bit about all these move and craziness. Why were you moving every single year?
Yeah, we moved more than every single year, first of all. We ended up moving 10 times in 6 years. At last count. We've since moved, but not more than once a year since then. Chris and I both started out traditionally, higher education, typical jobs. Chris was in finance and I was a chiropractor, acupuncturist. So healthcare to real estate, big transition, big change, but we had great jobs, made good incomes, but never found that our money went where we wanted it to go. So we thought, how are we going to retire quicker? Chris is a spreadsheet guy. He had the spreadsheet that said, this many years, this many months, this is when we're going to retire based on our current incomes. And he likes to run those scenarios still. But we didn't really like what we were seeing, and we knew we were earning decent income. So we started to research what we could be doing instead, and real estate came up. We did invest initially in pre-built condos, a couple. So we had Chris's from before we were married, he owned a condo. We bought 1.5 pre-built as well.
Those are the utopical condos, right?
That's right at Sherway Gardens there. So that was great, and they performed really well. But it was speculative. We really didn't know what we were doing. We just said, let's invest in real estate. We found somebody who had some opportunities with the pre-builds. And looking back now, condos is not the way that I would choose to invest. It is not the way I choose to continue to invest. It tends to kill your qualification for mortgages too quickly. So at a point, we ended up selling those 2.5 condos and our primary residence all in 1 year. And we bought 5 properties in about 1 year, just over 1 year, in the Durham region in Oshawa.
What kind of properties were you buying?
So three of them were single family homes and 2 were already legal duplexes. So a bit of a combination. The intent was to convert the other 3 single families into duplexes as well, or legal 2 units, as we'd say in Durham. The first one we bought, we thought we messed up really badly. It was a semi-detached home, and it didn't meet the requirements for the parking. Even though it looked initially on our due diligence like it should, it didn't.
Oh, so you were, sorry to stop you for a moment. So you were trying to you bought this property, and you were trying to convert it into a duplex.
Yes.
And the city has the legal parking requirement, and it didn't really quite meet the legal requirement.
It didn't have the frontage to have the green space they require along with the parking. We thought it had. We had vetted that. It's all a long story, but it didn't. So we really thought we messed up. We were still living at that time, not near Durham. We were living in the West End in Mississauga. We hadn't yet sold our primary residence. So in hindsight, I could have got a minor variance and it would have been no big deal, but I didn't know that then. So instead we pivoted and turned it to a student rental. So that was our first investment. To be honest, we sold it just before COVID. It's the only one we've ever sold.
Oh.
It did very, very well, but student rentals, hard to refinance or impossible sometimes. So we wanted the equity out. So that one we did get rid of. The intent was to duplex, didn't happen. Then the other 2 single families we duplexed, and then 2 were turnkey. So our first year was those 5 properties, and then we had our first child in that first year as well.
God, I don't know how you guys did it.
We did it by house hacking.
Yes, what is house hacking?
So house hacking is essentially when you're living in your investment property. So you run the advantage of not having a separate mortgage. It is your own personal mortgage, but you still get the income from another suite if you had another suite, or maybe you have roommates or whatever that looks like if it's single family. So that's what we did. Hence 5 properties in 1 year, 10 moves in 6 years. It kind of makes sense, right? We're moving property to property, so much so that I told you before, there was a day we moved into one of our properties, the same mover all the time. I went to go pay Mike his money at the end of the move, and I said, by the way, I know it's August, but we have our next property closing in November, so I'm going to book you today for the next move. And that was kind of how it went for us for the first few properties. And that was an interesting one because when we moved into that one, I was 8 months pregnant with our oldest daughter.
Oh my God.
And we moved into it before the upper part was completely ready, so I didn't have kitchen cabinets yet, so I was washing dishes in the bathroom sink, and her laundry was not running yet, so I went towards the student rental to go do the laundry that I owned. Yes, that we owned.
Multiple properties.
Exactly. And then our toilets didn't work very well for the first 3 or 4 days, so I had to use Tim Hortons across the street for the bathroom.
God.
So at 8 to 9 months pregnant, not optimal, but we made it work. They got to know me really well at Tim Hortons. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we had it fully converted into 2 units before we were moving into the next property, and we were able to get the basement rented out. We were able to get the upper rented out for right as we were going to transition to the next.
So at that point, you were still chiropractor.
Absolutely.
And then Chris still had his full-time job.
Yep.
And his full-time job is downtown Toronto.
It was downtown, yeah, in insurance. Yep.
Yeah, so he had to commute all the way downtown, and you were 8 months pregnant.
That's right.
That's how you guys pull it all off together for 5 properties.
Well, and when I was working as a chiropractor, I was commuting from Oshawa to Brampton.
Oh my God,
He at least got to take the GO train.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was driving all that distance. Now we did, house hacking was also brought on by the fact that I was pregnant. So we could come and move to the properties because I wasn't going to be working for a period of time. I was going to be home with the baby. And Chris, West End, East End, I mean, commuting downtown is kind of the same. So it didn't make a big difference. It was an opportunity for us to get to know our market. And it worked so well. The first one we moved into, we kind of move into the next and the next and the next is what happened.
So essentially you're using it as a tool for you to pay for your mat leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
so
absolutely.
for those of you who complain that you cannot afford to buy a place, maybe house hacking is the way.
Yeah.
Now, I know now you're specialized working in Durham region and beyond to help hardworking Canadians essentially trying to buy their home or invest in the region. Tell us a little bit about the, essentially, what's the best story? You have any good story? I'm nosy. I just wanted to know stories. So tell me the best stories that you've got with your clients.
Sure. So we have one that happened during COVID. It was at the start of COVID. These clients were looking to progress from the duplex to maybe 4, 6, or a few more doors than that to a higher density. So we managed to find a 4-plex that was available in a good area, a bit of a transitional area, but it had underpaying tenants, as we always tend to find in these units. Smelled like smoke. It definitely had some rodent issues, and it had some knob and tube wiring in it as well.
No.
So it was kind of like trifecta of a whole lot of stuff going on. But the one thing it did have that the sellers and the seller's agent didn't know is they thought it was just a 4-unit building, but not legally registered or recognized as such. Through some due diligence.
So
we figured it out.
did they price it that way?
Yes.
Accordingly, because
well, it's sat a little bit. It sat a little bit, so we got it under list, and I certainly was contacted by a number of realtors to say, how did you get that for that price? But we just realized that they were motivated. These were sellers that were just exiting the market, like they were done. They're retiring.
So the older owner
and they had a lot of like they had earned a lot of money, and it was a bit of headaches for them. Now, it also means they neglected it a bit usually, but that's things that we can manage. And we always joke around, cat pee smells like money because nobody else is going to buy it, but we can fix that problem, so we can save some money. So that was the case in this one, but the big thing was doing the due diligence in advance to know it's registered as 4 units. It's recognized at the municipal level as 4 units, so we don't have to fight to get it registered. We always caution our clients, do not use something as a fourplex if it's not legally a fourplex, because liability reasons, or even just financial, what can happen, like one complaint, your tenants get kicked out, now you can't cash flow, you can't make enough money from the property.
Absolutely.
So because we had realized this and clearly realized that the sellers and the seller's agent didn't know this, we got a much better price on it. So now my clients, of course, had to solve some problems. They had to get tenants out. So they did that through a big renovation, which changed the parameters of the apartments. Yeah. They had to deal with the knob and tube, which they also could evict for that reason because it was unsafe. Some rodent issues, smoke issues. So they went through that whole process and changed a legal 4 unit, again, not known legal. It was 2 1-bedrooms and 2 bachelors. It's now going to be 2 2-bedrooms and 2 1-bedrooms. So the increase in rent is going to be well more than 100% of what it had been before they bought it. Yeah. And the value of the property will easily be $500,000 more than what it would have been worth before. So some really good opportunity there, really exciting for them. As I love these people. They're much like ourselves, where they're just ambitious and always looking for the next one and the next opportunity, and not scared to take on something a little more complicated.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. I never prepared you for the question, but I'm going, like, you see deals like this, don't you want to get in yourself?
Sometimes, yeah. But and even our investors say, well, how can you help me if you're helping other investors? Isn't there, like, don't you want that deal yourself? Or don't you have 5 people looking for the same thing? The bottom line is, we're not always all looking for the same thing. We don't always have the capital available. We don't always have the financing available. Maybe I've just had a baby, or there's 100 things that could make our risk profiles different as far as what we're comfortable with. Our goals might be different. Our timelines might be different. So at the end of the day, we work with lots of investors, but I always say, I know you tell me, when there's a good deal, let me know, but you need to tell me when you're actually ready to take action, because then you're gonna, I'm gonna come to you with these best opportunities if that's the case, if you've positioned yourself ready to go. As we know in COVID, I mean, you couldn't sit on your hands and just wait for something for a long time. You really needed to be ready to take action, and there's still opportunities there.
Okay, those are really good. I think it's good idea, because I've come across a lot of people that I guess in the real estate investor world, like, you want to work with like multiple people. So because the investors approach certain profession, like, oh, I want to work with multiple people, and the only thing that they would drop a line on is, hey, Anita, find me a deal and then I'll buy through you. And that's like the classic line. But the reality is, if you're wishy-washy, the other side receiving it would be like, well, I am working with clients that are committed and fully qualified. Why would I want to bring a deal to you versus bringing the deal to my client who I clearly know that's fully qualified and committed?
And not just committed, they can close on it as well,
exactly.
right? Like, it is a lot of work for everybody involved, and it's my reputation too. So at this point, I've been in the business long enough that sometimes deals just come to me. We did March. In March, we did 5 off-market deals. 5 off-markets, all with one client, one of my buyers.
That's amazing.
And they all came off-market. They all came off market, and it's because I'm in a brokerage that I love, and certain other agents will come to me with opportunities if they don't want to take them to market sometimes. But I also know which clients can handle the rough stuff.
Oh yeah, that's
and you just made me think of an even bigger success story if we have the time to talk about it quickly.
Yeah, let's go.
So we have clients, 2 young guys that I think you probably know, and what they've done is, in the past 3 years, they've managed to add 20 doors to their portfolio. Not all of it through me. Some things they've bought off wholesalers or they found privately as well. But they're the people, like you said, I know if I bring the opportunity to them, if they say they're ready to go, they can get it done. So they purchased in, only one hasn't closed yet, but they purchased in the Bowmanville area. They purchased 4 properties, all of them off market, all of them an opportunity to be duplex plus at a coach house.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
In particular, one is side-by-side semi-detached units. Each is 2 units.
Wow.
So it's the attached semis. One was legal, one was not. But the parameters were there to legalize the other one. So they're going to turn these 4 units. The one lot is double. They're going to also sever. So they're going to turn these 4 units into a duplex with a coach house, a duplex with a coach house, and then the lot severed can't do a coach house, but it can still do a duplex.
Oh my
So they're going
God.
to turn 4 to 8, ideally. And
Oh my God.
we're in early stages and all of that's happening. But because they did that, I wasn't the listing realtor, I was the buyer's realtor. Somebody who had a client down the street, she called me, she said, Anita, I see you're the buyer agent on these 2 properties. Number 40 down the street. Your client's interested? I said, well, give me the information. As soon as she said 100-foot frontage, I said, we're probably interested. Let's go take a look. So we got that one tied up simply because the agent realized what I had done before, also knew I was an investor agent. I think she assumed I was working with builders, which is not exactly the case. But it brought us another opportunity. So they kind of bought up the street a little bit, which is great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's why you need to work with agents like Anita that actually has on the street experience and the reputation in the market. I know that is like a great area. The region that you are in is the great area in the east side to invest in. So kudos to you.
Thanks.
It looks like the transition from chiropractor to real estate investment coach is not that hard for you.
It's been pretty good, mostly because I enjoy it, right? It's easier when, first of all, you do it yourself, so that helps. You have the personal experience. And anything usually that I don't know or have firsthand experience with, I follow my clients a lot. I stay, in the loop with them all the time to see exactly what's happening. Like these guys, I've seen the plans for their coach houses and all this kind of stuff. So, and I love it. So it's fun. I'm a little bit of a nerd that way. So, but it allows you to do better by your clients because you're always still in it all the time and always helping people. And it's honestly, it's life-changing for people. Even for residential buyers, we have more and more residential buyers saying, well, maybe I need to buy a duplex.
Oh, that's amazing.
We just firmed up one for a family it's the son and his wife and their daughter, the mom and the dad, and then the brother and his girlfriend. So we're looking at 7 people moving into a home, but 7 people who, honestly work so hard, but the market's been crazy. And his parents have never owned a home. No one has owned a home. But we took advantage of the market dropping all of a sudden right now. And not only did they get a home, but these 7 people are living in a legal duplex. We got them a legal duplex so that they get their personal space, and it's perfect. And probably when they do well and get to see that appreciation that we hope they will, they're going to go their separate ways and actually each be able to have a home and have this investment property as well. So those are maybe not what you'd say the big flashy wins, but those are like the personal wins that mean a lot.
That's the job satisfaction that you get.
Yeah.
So if any of our viewers here want to reach out to you, how do they reach out to you?
You can reach out to me by email, anita@doorstowealth.com. It's probably the best way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anita, for joining us today. And for those of you who like our video, make sure you give us a thumbs up. And if you want to find out more about our Wealth Hacker Conference, make sure you visit wealthhacker.ca. Until next time, thank you.